producing this shot and making equipment for it to be doable. So that's the movement, guys, and let's have a look at the example of what it looks like. Okay? Okay, so this movie, Vertigo, the name kind of gives it away. Our character is afraid of heights. Okay? Now just watch for the distortion. Okay, see that, guys? Now, also, this is obviously a dolly zoom mixed with a point of view shot. Okay? Giving the point of view gives us the character's view, but the distortion by the dolly zoom allows us to feel how the character feels, or to get into their mental state, okay? To really experience what they are experiencing. And again, guys, it's used fantastically in Jaws. So anybody afraid of sharks, look away quickly. And let's see how it's used here, guys. Okay? Very, very distorting, very worrying, gives us a sense of, it's very unsettling to watch. It's kind of scary, it's quite distortive. But what I want you to notice here, guys, is how the subject stays relatively the same size, and the background is what gets distorted. See that? Brilliant. Now, is anybody, just before I move on, because for some reason, some students will get confused at this point, do you understand how we achieve the shot? That we move towards the character while zooming in or zooming out. It's up to your choice. Or moving away from the subject while zooming in or zooming out. So what I want to do, guys, is I want to set a challenge for you. Okay? You can take part if you want. It's not mandatory. You're welcome to send in an example of you trying to do the dolly zoom, because I want you guys to try and just encounter what happens when you do it. Okay? So you can send it over to video@shawacademy.com. It can be just a short little clip. Pick an orange or an apple or a Coke can, whatever it is. Pick your subject and you can do it for a bit of fun. And you can send me over the results. Okay? Brilliant. Good stuff. So let's talk a little bit about equipment, guys, because we've obviously talked about a lot of different movements. And now it's kind of time to understand how these movements are achieved. So what we have on screen here, guys, is known as a slider. So the equipment, you can get it in different sizes, depending on your shoot or your location and budget, obviously. But it's as simple as it looks, guys. The camera simply slides left to right, or depending on what way you face the camera, but it is to get a smooth motion. Any kind of production that you will see on YouTube or on TV or whatever it is, when you see a shot, guys, and you think, wow, that was a very, very professional shot, it was probably using something like a slider, moving left to right. One of these, guys, will really, really increase the overall quality of your production, guys. And equipment is getting fantastic. I don't mean fantastic in terms of that it's, changing so differently from what it is. What I mean is, guys, the price is coming down. Price is coming down and down and down, okay? And that's a great thing for us. I was looking on Amazon the other day at sliders, guys, and the prices, they're very, very affordable. So what I would suggest is going on to Amazon and having a little look. Just type in camera slider. What you need to consider, guys, in terms of its price range and in terms of its weight, if you buy a very, very cheap version, what will happen, guys, when the camera gets to one of the either sides of this? It starts to kind of shake, it starts to dip, okay? So what I would say is don't cheap out and go for the cheapest of the cheap. Always try to just go, and obviously in the realms of your budget. But there's some fantastic stuff on Amazon, guys. And again, if you need any help with equipment, I'm always here, guys. You can always pop me over an email. I'm very, very happy to help you with that, because I've made some mistakes with equipment in my past. And if I can kind of keep you guys from those mistakes, that'll save you guys money and stress in the long run, okay? The next piece of equipment, guys, that you might want to consider or think about is the Steadicam, okay? It came about around the 1970s. An American cinematographer, Gareth Brown, was the first one to come up with this. Now, he would have came up with similar enough to what's in the middle. Because what you'll notice is, the Steadicams on either side, they're just handheld. Now, how the Steadicam works, guys, it has weights. And what you have to do is you have to counterbalance the camera's center point of gravity. It can be a little bit difficult to do, but once you get it, the Steadicam is fantastic for certain types of shots. And what I want to show you is a very, very famous shot from a very, very famous movie. I don't know if you've seen it yet, guys. It's called Goodfellas. I would suggest watching it. Now, what I want to show you the scene, and I'm only going to be able to show you a small portion of the clip, but obviously on Monday when we try the new system, that's going to be different, guys. So, this is the use of a Steadicam. Okay? See that smooth movement, guys? And this is a camera operator. Can you imagine trying to do this shot handheld? How shaky that would be. Very, very smooth movements, guys. And this is obviously what we kind of want to achieve. And again, guys, same goes. With the Steadicams, Amazon have some great ones as well. But what I want you to notice, guys, is there's a different use for everything in terms of telling a story. What I want to do is just tell you a brief story about this. Our character here, our main character, he's a gangster. At this point, it's one of, I suppose, it's when he's at his highest, or when he's at his most powerful, I suppose. And the use of the Steadicam in this shot is to convey to the audience the character's ease at life. Okay? He effortlessly breezes through the crowd of a very, very busy club. Breezing through the hallways, the doors, past the doormen. So, the Steadicam provides you with a smooth, gliding type of footage. So that's why the director is using it here. Although it looks visually pleasing, it is to mirror the character or where the character is at that point of the story. So does that part make sense, guys? So sometimes we might just want smooth movements, so we'll use a Steadicam. But other times we're trying to portray to the audience exactly what's happening. If this was an action scene, if it was a fight scene, do you think they're going to use a Steadicam? No, exactly, because for a fight scene, guys, it needs to look very chaotic. It needs to look kind of all over the place. It's very, very raw. So you'll probably go for or opt for a more handheld type shot when doing it. Exactly, guys. And everyone seems to be understanding the message that I'm trying to get across. So it's not just about learning the technical things and the creative things and knowing how to do them. That's all well and good, guys. It's you need to start thinking about how or why you use them. Okay? And again, guys, important, tripods, monopods, guys, handshake, fatigue, on long shoots, that's going to happen to you. Okay? For the most part, get the footage as smooth as possible. If the scene suits handheld, definitely go for it. But what we want to see here is smooth pans, smooth tilts, smooth movements. Everything really smooth, guys. Okay? So, some considerations again. The tripod, the monopod. What I want, guys, for you to take away from this lesson, it might be a good idea for you to rewatch the lesson. Because we've gone through an awful lot. We've gone through framing, composition, movement, angles. It's a hell of a lot. So what I would say is to go back over it. And from this point on, I want you to watch movies. And I want you to look at the scene. And what I want you to do is, guys, I want you to try to break it down. I want you to try deconstruct it, to pull it apart. And to start to think why they might have chose that angle, or why they chose the composition, or why they specifically chose that movement. What are they trying to get across to me? And the best way to try to understand how they got, or what they're trying to get across to you, is to just see how you feel when you watch the scene. Try to be hypersensitive to the emotions that you feel, or if you feel the scene is moving fast, slow, whatever it is, guys. The tipping point here. And I remember this from college because when I was going to movies and I was watching TV, it kind of ruined it for the first little while, because instead of just being a passenger and just watching it and letting it all just hit my eyes and not really think about it, I started to try to think about why and how. And then what I could do is I could adopt that to my own movie making. Because, guys, I'm still a student. I will always be a student of film. Okay? And any of the best directors will say that they are a student still. and still learning, okay? So explore, and what I want you to do, guys, is explore angles, explore framing, movement, and see what you get. And again, you're very, very welcome to try all of this and to send it over to me, guys, because I want to see your progression as well. And then I can get you some helpful tips and feedback, and that's the best way from learning from each other, okay? So I think I've covered basically the summary. Again, guys, if you want to expand on this, especially for any of you members out there, because obviously you have access to all the courses completely free of charge, what I would suggest is, if you want to get further into this, lesson 5 on the photography course, composition. So getting heavily into that again, just if you want some extra learning. Now next week, guys, next week is similar enough, well, I suppose, similar enough in the fact that I'm just as excited for next week because I had a lot of fun building it. So we're going to go into color temperature. We're going to go into white balance. We're going to go into color theory and how you can use that. We're going to go into lighting and setups because I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for lighting. And again, obviously, color theory. Okay?